Hello, welcome to Tipsy Gentlemen, the podcast where we just talk about stuff. And I have two new guests. With me are Brandon, the hardcore kid, and Otaku Nate Milbank. Hello, boys.
What's happening?
Cheers, love. The cavalry's there.
You sound like Father Ted. A little bit. Well, one of.
No. Father Ted is, he's an Irish man. I was trying to do Tracer from Overwatch. Of course, my voice doesn't really go that high. If any British people are listening, I'm pretty sure that Tracer speaks with, like, a London accent.
Also, I'm in the Renaissance fair, so I have to learn to speak in a British accent from the 1500s, 1600s.
What British accent? Because there are several British accents. Southern London, Geordie, Scottish...
And then there's the Cockney ones that sound right out of my python.
Well, what does this voice sound like I'm doing right now?
You sound like, I think it's Michael Palin from Monty Python.
I'm working on it.
I like it.
Just watch a whole bunch of Monty Python sketches and you'll be good. Gumby Brain Specialist is the one that has been on my mind lately. Doctor!
Yeah, plus we've had a lot of British guys on the podcast we've been doing, so...
And a Scottish one.
So, yeah, we're breaking it in.
Yep. Okay, so... As for the subjects we've got, you guys, like you guys do on your usual podcast, you guys have wrestling and robotics, and I have a religious movie, so I'm going to do that first. Okay, so the movie I have is El Arca. It was made in Argentina, and it's supposed to be Noah's Ark, but it's from the perspective of the animals. This movie is a comedy, and it is... I don't know if you should show this to your families, especially your children. There's lots of really inappropriate content in this one.
It's definitely not a kid's movie. It seems more oriented towards a PG-13 type audience, because there's a lot of sex scenes, there's a lot of drug use, there's some occasional language. It's another one of those international cartoon movies where that they always manage to get away with a lot of stuff. Like, for example, if you've ever seen the Jungle Derek Hugo movies, there's a lot of swearing in them. In particular, there's one point where there's a lady in the second one who refers to these attack dogs as bullshit terriers, and I'm not making that up. It's awesome.
Kids movies.
In the Sonic OAV from the 90s, there's actually a moment where if you actually watch the Japanese track, Knuckles says the Japanese equivalent of "oh shit." They don't keep that in the dub for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Gotta love them pushing that envelope.
Yeah.
We have Western cartoons introducing more gay couples, and we got international cartoons swearing up a storm.
Yeah. So the plot to this movie. It's basically Noah's Ark and God, who they portray as kind of a mixture of all races. They have him be a large black man with slinted eyes and blonde hair. So diversity.
Oh my god!
He kind of reminded me of Zeus a little bit from Hercules, I think.
A little bit, yeah.
Not as. Except Zeus wasn't as racist as this guy was.
Yeah. So he wants to end the world, he wants to get rid of all the bad people, like in the original Fable, so he tells Noah. And I'm going to say this right now, off the bat, Noah really has nothing to do with the movie. Him and his family build the boat. The side characters with his family, like his sons and their wives, they're kind of obnoxious.
Yeah, well, that's why it's called El Arca, and not straight up Noah. Yeah, in some areas it is just called Noah's Ark, isn't it?
Yeah, it's called Noah's Ark in America.
Even though Noah's like a minor character.
Why they did that?
Zero and all those other animals are the main focus.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so then we get to all the animal characters, and we have a lion prince who's very, he's a teenager, so he talks a lot about, like we mentioned with the sex innuendos. He talks about how at first he wants a girl who has big boobs and no brains. Once again, kids film. Thanks, Argentina. And of course, his family has an assistant who's a lioness, and she's nerdy. And yeah, guess what? They're gonna get together by the end of the film. So there's that.
Well,
And so they're talking about how they need to go. There's a cheetah who, as soon as you see him, as soon as he walks up on screen, you know he's bad because he has a menacing face. He's the villain. He has a posse of bad guys, as well as a sexy panther woman. That I can't believe I just said that. That's a thing in this movie. And she even does...
And you know what her name... She is furry fuel incarnate. And you know what her name is? Panty.
Is it? I thought it was... Wait. Okay, for a second, because I have no idea what you guys are talking about, because I did not watch the movie because I wasn't told to prepare for this.
If you wanna see what we're talking about, either watch Media Hunter's review or Bob Show's review.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of Bob Show.
When I first heard the term Panther Lady, I thought, oh, Anne from Persona 5? Because that's her code name. But then I just hear the name Panty, and I'm like, Panty Anarchy from Penny and Stocking?
Yeah.
Even they aren't this sexed up.
Oh, yeah. There's even a scene where she does, like, a parody of I Will Survive, and she sings about how she's gonna eat all the prey animals on the Ark. That...
Yep, it's Panty Anarchy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. The Lion Prince's family dies, because the Lion King, yes, there's a literal Lion King and his wife, they get taken by the flood, so... And there's a brief moment where he realizes this. Like, as soon as he thinks that the Ark, initially he thinks the Ark is like a pleasure cruise. And, oh man. And he has a sidekick who's an orangutan who is very effeminate, and they try to build it that he's gay, and then it turns out he has a wife. So why they went with that, I have no clue.
Maybe he's bi.
Maybe. Yeah. There's really not much to say about the movie. The humans aren't very interesting. There's a reason that they're background characters. I get that they wanted to make it about the animals and their perspective, but they're just not interesting. It's like a generic family movie story of, you gotta become...
And also, it doesn't even really have an ending. It just ends with them out in the water, doesn't it? Or do they reach land?
I thought they reached land at the very end because... Oh, no, they don't even reach it. They're like, hey, look, there's land. And then they celebrate. And, yeah, they defeat all the bad guys, and they have Panty up in a cage dancing around like a stripper. And, Oh god, there's one scene where they defeat they defeat the villains in a scene that includes them like dancing, and it really like they dance, then the villains laugh, and then I forget what happens after that, but they end up getting defeated somehow. When they started dancing, you were really expecting like a kind of like Stomp the Yard kind of vibe going on. It's a furry version of Stomp the Yard. What that was about, I don't know.
It could be worse. It could be like Dancing It's On.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. There is one joke that I think they actually stole from Disney, which was when the animals have their initial meeting of the world gonna get wiped out. They have a dragon, a griffin, and a unicorn, and they're like, no, we're not gonna go down there to the Ark. It's just a trap so that they can hunt all of us down. So it's implying that those creatures were real, but then they ended up dying off in the flood. So wasn't that already done in a Disney movie?
I mean, with the animation, it's like at first glance, it looks like a Disney movie. It has that Western style animation with a bit of CGI thrown in, and then you see like that they throw in all the sex references and all the wackiness, and you realize, yeah, this is not Disney.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing ever, I guess, but it's not very good.
It's stupid.
Yes.
It's just flat out stupid.
It is stupid. So
like nobody's likable. The only likable character I think in it was, what was the girl lioness's name? Do you remember? Because I know the main character's name is Zero.
Yeah, Janet, I think was the...
Janet. To the wiki. I doubt that there exists a separate wiki for this movie.
Probably.
But if there is, I'll be so... Actually, I wouldn't be surprised. Every franchise has a wiki.
Mm-hmm. But...
In fact, I think Mad Max Fury Road has a wiki of its own.
I just learned that this one anime that I'm doing a panel on, The Rose of Versailles, has a wiki.
Huh.
Never heard of it.
Well, that's interesting.
So yeah, that movie was stupid.
Yeah, well, enough of that. It was stupid. I guess. No, I'm not even gonna say if you have kids watch it. No, it's this. There's way better kids. There's better religious movie. I'd say watch Evan Almighty. That movie was way better than this was.
Yeah, not really. But...
At least it's interesting because I had to watch a movie about the appearance of Fatima in Spain. And I was hoping that it was going to be like some kind of History Channel documentary, and oh my god, no. It was one of the most cheaply produced looking movies that I have ever seen.
Huh.
Either or you go, Nate, sorry.
I mean, it's not a horrible religious movie, it's just really boring.
Okay.
That's really the thing with these religious movies. They try to punch it down your throat, like about, oh, God is good, atheism is evil. If you're atheist, bad things will happen to you.
God's not dead.
That's why movies like God's Not Dead and whatnot get created so that they can spread this message out, and it just comes off as completely insane.
See, the thing with that movie that I watched, The 13th Day it was called, they didn't even do that sort of message. It was just a historical recreation of the appearance of Fatima, or the appearance of Mary at Fatima, I believe that's what it is. I'm not going to look it up. But it's not that it was bad, it's just that it was so cheap and just so... It felt like it was a student film.
Huh. Yeah. Okay.
So it's not like the ridiculous religious movie that you can just make fun of. It's just really dull.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'll at least give it credit that it didn't try to cram the religious message down your throat.
Gotcha.
But I would like to see a professional movie made about the appearance of Fatima.
All right. Well, yeah, El Arca. Really, don't watch it. It's not very good. So, who's next?
Either of you seen the recent Noah's Ark film?
No.
Was that, which I think I have... Was that the one that had the rock monsters?
What?
Oh, is that the Kurt Russell one or whatever?
Is Kurt Russell, Emma Watson...
Yeah, rock monsters are in that.
What the fuck?
All right, so which one of you wants to go next, and what is your subject?
How about, I have a robot event this weekend. Maybe we can talk about that for a bit.
Sure.
Yeah, so, this Saturday is the 10th annual Pennsylvania Bot Blast. I've won the Beetleweight division 3 years in a row, and I'm now coming back and seeing if I can squeeze a fourth one onto my trophy bench right over here. But yeah, it's ever since BattleBots came back, the sport's gotten really popular. I mean, this event, it's in a mall out in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, but we always get like upwards of 50 to 60 robots competing. It's
a dead mall, I should say, because I've been there with you.
I'm actually surprised that that mall is still open. I mean, all that you have in there is like some sports place, a Subway, a pretzel shop, Payless, Kohl's, and that's pretty much it.
Payless is going out of business.
Dun dun dun. Payless. Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of bots just beating the crap out of each other. I have Mondo Bizarro and Revy, my little two drum spinners, and I also have a new robot I just built. A 6 pound mantis weight wedge, which I named Derpy, because it's derpily built.
Hang on, you said that wrong. Say wedge again, Brandon.
Wedge.
There we go.
Yes. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully I don't get beaten up too badly.
Well,
Yeah.
best of luck.
Thank you.
All right.
And also, big important news. Robot Wars: The 10th Wars is scheduled to air in October of 2017.
Oh.
And we'll be there on the scene. Well, not there on the scene, but we'll be doing episode reviews, maybe having some guests on. We got to reach out to some people, Brandon.
Yeah, we got to get some robot builders on there. We tried to get one guy who competed on the show on there, but first time he couldn't because he was hosting an event, or he wasn't hosting, he was at the event. And second time he got food poisoning, so...
Aw.
Third time will be the charm, we hope.
We hope. But yeah, that should be a lot of fun. I always enjoyed those podcasts, and big thank you to some of our fellow Robot Wars reviewers like Sam Elliott 64, Jim Jamatic, who Nate has appeared on a few times, and I'm also going to be in a few episode reviews as well, so that should be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Yes.
Huh.
And, yep.
All right. Now, Nate, your subject?
Well, I figured I'd talk about this game that I'm playing right now, and maybe I shouldn't be talking about it in depth because I haven't beaten it yet, but I figured that I'm ready to talk about Persona 5.
Fire
I
away.
have not even played Persona 1.
Don't
Yeah.
worry about that, Brandon. Each Persona game is standalone, although Persona 4 does make a direct reference to Persona 3, and Persona 5 has some references to Persona 4 and 3, but each game in the series, with the exception of Persona 2, is standalone.
Huh.
Interesting. So it's not like the same game over and over again, is it?
Well, gameplay-wise, Persona 1 and 2 are drastically different from Persona 3 onwards. Because while it is a turn-based RPG, I've played a bit of the first Persona game, and the combat in that game is really clunky. You have to do things like group formations. You have to... Your turn... You have to decide all of your moves in one turn. So, like, the moves that you choose are pretty much predetermined. And the random encounter rate in that game is insane.
So you just running into bad guys every 5 seconds?
Pretty much.
Huh.
However, the Persona series got a bit of a rejuvenation when Persona 3 came out. Initially, it was intended to be an open-world Shin Megami Tensei game, because the Persona series is actually a spin-off of the popular Japanese RPG series Shin Megami Tensei. But because of the poor sales of 2 other Shin Megami Tensei games on the PlayStation 2, Devil Summoner and Digital Devil Saga, they had to scale Persona 3 back a bit and instead make it into a very limited setting, but with a lot you can do.
Uh-huh.
And in Persona 3, it's not so much what you do in the battles that counts, but what you do outside of the battles. It very much feels like you're in an anime series. And yes, I know a lot of JRPGs have that anime aesthetic to them, but this literally feels like you're in an anime watching the plot unfold. You have your main protagonist, who is nameless, but you give him a name at the beginning of the game. That's what all the Shin Megami Tensei games do.
What do you name them?
Normally I name all of my characters in the Persona games after famous anime voice actors. Persona 3, I named him Kaneto Shiozawa. Persona 4, I named mine Norio Wakamoto. And in Persona 5, I named mine Shuichi Ikeda, who voices Char Aznable in Gundam. Although, considering that the game borrows heavily from the famous Phantom Thief Arsene Lupin, I should have named him Yasuo Yamada, because Yasuo Yamada is the voice actor for Lupin III.
Huh.
So, what makes the Persona games so unique is that outside of battle, rather than just going from town to town, leveling up, buying items, and whatnot, you instead have attributes that you can increase. In this case, the core attributes in Persona 5 are proficiency, charm, kindness, guts, and intelligence. And doing various activities like studying, reading books, doing jobs, basic recreation, going to certain locations at certain times during the week will increase these attributes. The more you gain, the better you can do with what are called social links. There are key characters you can interact with that, in the case of Persona 5, will aid you in battle. And the way battle works in Persona 5, let me put it this way. The Shin Megami Tensei series is kind of a precursor to Pokemon, in that rather than, fighting by yourself, you are able to summon and recruit demons to do the fighting for you. And when I say demons, I don't mean like your generic hell demons. I mean beings, figures, creatures, and other sorts of, what's the name of it? Entities from various folklore and mythology.
Okay, good, because I was about to say, I'm a Christian. I would get a little offended if there was a game where you use demons to fight. I love Pokemon, by the way.
Oh, come on.
Well, you actually can't. There are actually several so-called demons who are based on real life satanic entities. Like, for example, there's a race in the Shin Megami Tensei series known as the Fiends that are a group of skeletons. And, you have ones who are based on real life beings like the Matador, the famous monk Daisojo, and Hellbiker, who is based on the Hell's Angels. But then you have the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Oh, that's cool.
The Trumpet... Yeah, Red Rider, White Rider, Black Rider, and Pale Rider. The Trumpeter, who, in the Book of Revelations, every time he sounded his trumpet, he brought new disasters and diseases upon humanity, making the world more hellish. The Mother Harlot, also from the Book of Revelation. Beelzebub. Both Lucifer and Satan.
Whoa.
And Metatron, one of the highest angels in heaven.
That's awesome.
So there's like a whole bunch of different devils going on.
Well, actually, Metatron is an angel. In fact, he's not the only one there, as you also have the agents of law. Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, and Raphael.
Huh, that's cool.
You also have entities from Hindu mythology, Buddhist mythology, Japanese folklore, Chinese mythology, British and Irish folklore.
Wow. So this is like a huge bringing together of different ideologies and...
If you want to waste some time, just look at all of the so-called demons featured in the Shin Megami Tensei series, but I'm getting off track here. So, each demon, or in this case, persona, brings you different abilities. You have your basic spells like fire, ice, electric, wind, curse, bless, psychic, and nuclear. And certain demons are strong against certain elements, and not only does it mean you have... And when I say strong against, I mean you either take less damage from certain attacks, reflect them back at your opponents, nullify them, or in this case, absorb them to gain health, while some demons are weak against others.
That's good.
And that was your Persona trivia for today.
You watched... did you watch playthrough of Catherine?
I don't even know what that is.
I did not.
That's a fun little puzzle game from from the same team that created Persona, but I'm getting off track here.
Hear the name Catherine, and I immediately thought of Christine, the murderous car from Stephen King for some reason. I get my names mixed up.
Now, Unlike Pokemon, though, your demons cannot evolve. You instead have to create new demons through fusion. When you fuse two demons together, you'll get a much stronger one, but one that also inherits abilities from the two demons you sacrificed.
So it's...
So is this beginning to make sense? Because there's a lot to explain about the Shin Megami Tensei series. All of this, by the way, is present in Persona 5.
I've honestly never been a big fan of all RPG games. Like, I've played a few. You want to know what the worst quote-unquote RPG game I've ever played is?
What?
What?
Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring on the Game Boy Advance.
That's a thing?
It's a thing. Basically, it's supposed to follow the events of the book. You meet a bunch of guys. You start off with Frodo, Sam, Pippin, Merry, and eventually you gather a bunch of people and you form the entire Fellowship from the movie. And you have to go into different towns, different areas, and you have random fights with... Excuse you. Random fights with, whether it be wolves or black riders or whatnot, orcs. And it sounds all fun, but it really isn't. Because 90% of the time when you're in combat, your characters always miss. Like, they slowly move towards the enemy, they zoom their sword, and it just says missed. Like, 90% of the time.
Oh, man.
And
that's lame.
It's the least of the problems. There's a point where you have to go through this forest, and it's like... There's, like, certain points you have to get through to maneuver through the woods, because otherwise you'll be going in circles. Like, say you're going up through a path, and then you go up into another path, and then up another path, and the next thing you know, you're right back where you started from, and you're like, what the fuck? But I was unable to finish the game, and that's because when you get to the mines of Mora, as soon as you pass, right after a fight, you pass through a doorway, and the game just crashes. Like, you go through the door, the screen fades out, when it pops up, it's just Frodo in a dark room, the game's not doing anything, it's over and done with. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, the game was buggy and crashed a lot, it was a piece of shit. And I have actually seen a walkthrough of the game, and really, all that happens is it ends with Frodo and Boromir on top of a mountain, and then it just ends. So, I didn't miss a damn thing. Yeah, that was my tale of the worst RPG game I've ever played. What would you say is the worst RPG game you guys ever played?
I can't really say that I've played any so-called bad ones. I guess
I've never played any, so I can't say.
Agarest War, because I heard more about the controversy around it, because it's basically a dating sim JRPG. The combat in it was really clunky. It just felt really... It was just really boring. It's a game you play more for the novelty than the actual game itself. I tend to avoid most of the bad RPGs and instead focus on the good series, like the Tales games, or, as I mentioned, Shin Megami Tensei. So, to go back to Persona 5, and yes, I'm finally getting to the meat of the game itself.
Yeah.
You play as once again, the signature nameless hero of the SMT franchise, although his canonical name is Akira.
Akira!
I was about to say, that's a movie.
It's a very common Japanese name, though a lot of people tend to associate it with the movie.
A lot of people always pronounce it differently. Like, sometimes it's Akira, sometimes it's Akira. And in the English dub that I reviewed, they pronounce it Akira. Like, what?
They roll the R. Akira.
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 Yeah, I just say Akira, just to be safe.
Too.
But anyway. So, in this case, he's been sent off to live with a surrogate guardian on the outskirts of Tokyo. Because he was framed for a crime that he didn't commit. In this case, he was about to stop a woman from being, well, let's just say, sexually assaulted. Mm-hmm. But in the process, When the cops came, he was the one who got framed for trying to assault a woman, and as such, he's now basically just labeled as a punk and is expelled from his old school and reassigned to one just outside of Tokyo.
Huh.
Obedience school.
Actually, no, it's just a regular old high school. That's another thing about the Persona games. They all take place in present-day Japan.
Huh.
Which at this point... Interesting.
So, one day, you find Akira gets a mysterious app on his phone called the MetaNav. He has no idea what this is, so he deletes it immediately. Delete! But this so-called MetaNav app opens a door to a place called the Metaverse, meaning that he can access people's cognition. And so, inside this Metaverse, thanks to the help of a talking cat named Morgana, he and several other of his friends form a group known as the Phantom Thieves.
Huh. The Phantom Thieves.
That's a good name.
That is a good name, yeah.
Well, they named themselves after the famous French thief Arsène Lupin, because, he was the original Phantom Thief, who also served as the inspiration for Lupin the Third.
He was Lupin the First.
Yeah. And throughout the game, you basically go to various people's palaces to try and steal/change their hearts.
So it's like a morality quest?
Not well, sort of. I just reached a major twist in the game that I'm not going to spoil for anyone who wants to go out and play it, but I think anyone who's, listening to this podcast will know what I'm talking about.
Gotcha.
But I'm sure you get a lot of Persona fans, so...
But what's cool about this, the palaces is that they're all based on different locations you can find for heists. Like, the first dungeon in the game is a castle.
Huh. A lot of video games have castles.
Well, yeah, but I'm pretty sure that this is supposed to be a callback to Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro, but this one does not feature a clock tower fight.
Huh. Okay.
The second dungeon is a museum, and the third dungeon is a bank.
Okay. A bank.
Mm-hmm. A bank?
It makes sense.
Like maybe it was somebody's safe room where they keep all their money?
Actually, safe rooms are common in this game because that's where you have to save.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so if you get to an area where the so-called cognition is weak, you can save your game. But enough about that. What makes Persona 5 different in terms of its combat, though, is that while you fought shadows that were basically just these weird-looking monsters, this time around you actually fight some of the demons from the Shin Megami Tensei games. You know, you start up with the weaker ones like Pixie and Pyro Jack, Silky, and Kelpie. And yes, these are all actual real-life entities. Look them up. Before you move up to tougher ones like Dionysus, Queen Mab, Giri Makala, and Kinki.
Kinki?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
There is a Japanese demon called Kinki.
Oh, Kinki. I thought Kink-y.
That's what I heard too, actually.
Yeah, it's K-I-N-K-I.
Gotcha.
Kinki, like Loki, but Kinki.
Actually, Loki is one of the demons you can summon in the SMT verse.
Oh, wow.
The Loki in Persona 5 is different from the Loki in the Shin Megami Tensei series, but I'm not gonna go into that because of spoilers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, the combat in Persona 5 is also turn-based, and much like Earthbound, if you get the jump on your enemies, you actually basically get a free turn without the enemies attacking you. But if the enemies get the jump on you, they can surround you and prevent you from escaping, unless you somehow turn the tables on them.
Huh.
Interesting.
It's, I think I pretty much mentioned everything that I have to say about Persona 5 without giving too much away. Right now I'm on the final dungeon, or at least I think it's the final dungeon. I'm not sure. I'm going for the true ending. But one last bit about the story is that they actually give away a key moment in the very beginning of the game. And it's not like
anything.
It's basically
No
just
spoilers.
it previews events that come later on, and the player basically just has to piece together just what happened and where it goes from there.
Okay.
Yeah, I might check out the Persona games, and I've heard a lot of good things about Persona 5, but I've just never been that big a fan of RPGs, basically. But
Yeah.
you're gonna have to show me it, Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to start with any Persona game, I would only recommend Persona 1 and 2 if you're curious. I wouldn't have the patience to play through them myself, considering just how clunky the combat is. I'd say Persona 3 through 5 are all great starting points, and like I said at the beginning, you don't have to play any of the other Persona games in order to enjoy them. They all stand on their own.
Okay. Yeah, it's actually funny you bring up Persona. I just remembered somebody actually requested I do a Captivating Christian episode on it, and actually, you know what? I think you convinced me to actually try it, so I actually might look at it, Nate. Thank you for recommending it.
So, are there any upcoming games you guys are looking forward to?
Not really.
Not really.
I'm not really much of a gamer. I mean, Persona 5 has been taking up a lot of my life. But after I finish Persona 5, I'm just gonna play Persona 5 all over again.
That good?
Well, no, it's just there's plenty of content available. Because once you beat the game, you can start over with New Game Plus.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
All your social links, all your stat bonuses. Essentially, the game is a little easier, but it still maintains its challenge. And there's also extra boss fights as well.
Oh, okay. All right. So there's definitely stuff once you finish.
You know what game I just started playing again?
What?
Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 on the Nintendo GameCube.
Oh, I've seen gameplay footage of that. Is it really good?
It's really good, but it's also really short. I think there's like 11 missions in it, and because I bought you know where that game place is in Clifton that we went to for the AVGN signing, right, Nate?
Digital Press.
Digital Press, yes. I got a GameCube there. It was only like $50. I got Star Wars Rogue Squadron 2 to go with it. I bought a GameCube just to play that game because I love it so much. And, I love the Star Wars movies, not the prequels, but really the best parts of the movie for me are the space fights.
Agreed.
X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, B-Wings, Z-Wings, B-Wings. And, Rogue One, I enjoyed for the most part because much of the climax was all the space battles where they show all the pilots going, and they even had stock footage of Rogue Leader from the original because unfortunately the actor recently died, so that they showed footage of him that was deleted from the final cut of A New Hope, which I thought was cool.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about Rogue One was the ending, but. You know what? I'm not. If you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil anything. But yeah, I wasn't too big on the ending. What was really sad though was when me and my friend we were in line waiting to see Rogue One. I checked the phone and I found out Carrie Fisher had a heart attack, and I'm like,
oh
damn.
yeah, that was that was terrible timing. That was like new Star Wars movie came out, and then next thing you know, Princess Leia.
Well, she said she just saw the movie when she was in London, right before. Apparently, she had a heart attack on an airplane when she was coming home from England to Los Angeles or wherever. And it's like, god damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
yeah,
fun.
Rogue Squadron 2 is a lot of fun. It's a space shooter, of course. You're going around trying to murder as many X-Wings as possible. Try to blow up the Death Star and AT-ATs and all kinds of wackiness. Even though it's fun, it is impossible to get a gold medal in that game. Like, I've tried as hard as I can, but the best I could do is a silver medal, because sometimes, I didn't kill enough enemies, or, my accuracy wasn't so good. It's like, give me a break, man. I did all this firing, and I'm still not getting a gold for it. Like, jeez.
Huh.
But it's a lot of fun. The Battle of Endor is where you're just going around shooting as many TIE fighters as possible and blowing up 2 Star Destroyers. It's a lot of fun. I love it. I haven't played the Rogue Squadron 3 yet, although I heard it wasn't as good as the first 2. But never know. I still have a GameCube. I'll see if I can find a copy of it somewhere and finish the trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find some GameCube games for pretty cheap.
Oh, well, the system's like, 10, 15 years old now? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Fun fact. I got a Sega Genesis years ago when I was at Digital Press. I still have the box for me, and I put my robots in it.
Aw, nice.
Whenever I'm going to an event, I put them in there with some soft tires, and they just sit comfortably in there without getting badly damaged. They are Genesis.
Genesis.
Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Oh.
Exactly. It's a lot of fun. And I haven't played the Battlefront games yet, but hopefully I gotta get a new Xbox One, because the other one got the yellow ring of death, unfortunately.
Oh.
The red ring of death. Yeah, shit happens, but
yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, I think this is a good place where we can stop. There's
my computer's about to die.
Yeah.
And,
so
I went on way too long about Persona 5, but it was great having you on. Great having me on. Hopefully you can have me on again, and I'll talk your ass off about something else.
Yep.
And I'll give you a full detailed report of how I did at Bot Blast. So.
Yep. Well, all right. It's been great having you guys on Tipsy Gentlemen. Obviously, I'll link you guys' stuff in the description, and you guys can check them out. So, thank you, Hardcore Podcast, for being on, and we'll see you guys next time on the next podcast.